Okay, we're going to go ahead and get ready to get started.
Good evening, everybody. I am Nikki Greer-Hermuth, the co-chair. I'd like to, in accordance with the Government Code Section 551, I will now call this meeting of the School Health Advisory Council to order at 4:33 p.m. I would like to thank you all for being here today and for being a part of this committee. And I'd like to hand it over to Ms. Sandra Shields.
Happy Monday. Hey, y'all. I'm here to do the reading of the minutes. That's what you were telling me. You did get it. Yeah, it's Monday, y'all. My brain is on Monday. Oh, I need you. Yeah. Okay, so the minutes are before you and have been shared with the committee. I'm going to pause and give you time to review. Now's the time to make any changes to the meeting minutes. Our meeting was held. Oh, you're fine. Oh, in front of me? Okay.
He said it'll come back on. Go ahead.
Okay. We're having some technical difficulties, so bear with us. Right, yeah. So the meeting was held Monday, December 4th, 2023 at 4:30 p.m. here in the Duncanville ISD boardroom located at 710 South Cedar Ridge Drive, Duncanville, Texas. It's called to order, and the topics that were discussed were provided in our minutes and notes. We reviewed our bylaws. We talked about the restorative practices and discipline updates. We also did a review of the wellness plan. We discussed safety and security updates. We also talked about suicide prevention and the protocol around those. And last but not least, we touched on the social emotional barrier activity that we had held from the previous meeting. So we continued that activity. I'm just pausing to see if there are any changes. The meeting was adjourned at 6:14 by our chair, Dr. Acosta. Are there any changes to the minutes? Okay, these minutes stand approved. Oh, it's in there. Touch it, yeah. Thanks.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the review of the shack bylaws. When you came in, there was a copy on the table, so if you did not have the opportunity to get a copy near the sign-in sheet, please do so. I am going to give you a couple of minutes. You can see the changes that were recommended by the committee that are highlighted in green, so you can kind of see the track changes where information was crossed out or edited based on the committee's recommendation. And so I'm going to give you a minute to just kind of go through the bylaws, review, see if I was able to capture all of the recommendations of the SHAC committee. If there's anything that was missed, any items that need further discussion. So I'm going to kind of give you about 2 minutes to just look through that. And then we'll see if there's any discussion about anything that's in the bylaws that needs adjusting before the elected SHAC members vote to approve the bylaws revisions as they are in your handout. Anybody else need additional time to review the revisions, the bylaw revisions? Has everybody had enough time? Are there any changes or anything that was not captured, anything that needs to be adjusted? Okay, so Nurse Grant is going to pass out ballots for the committee members. And so remember, we do have SHAC guests and SHAC members, and so she's going to pass out ballots for those committee members to vote as to whether or not they accept those bylaws. And so we will see if we can approve these adjustments. I wanted to show the track changes, and of course, the final version will be edited to not show the track changes that are presented here today. So if you could check those, and then Nurse Grant, if you could collect those as well. Would you give her mine too? Have collected our ballots? Okay, how many? If you could tell me how many? 7 yes, no no's? Okay, so this has been voted with 7 yeses, so these bylaws have been passed. So thank you, guys. We now have revised bylaws thanks to this SHAC committee. So, great job. So now I will be turning it over to our Director of Counseling, Shayla Pratt, who will continue to lead us through her activities on social emotional barriers and support. All right. Thank you.
Good evening. Oops, sorry. All righty. Okay. Okay, so we're going to continue our work. So as you all know, that we are the committee that is working to identify barriers that we currently are facing as it relates to social emotional learning, as well as family engagement. So I just want to do a quick recap, because if you are a human being like me, you have slept since we last talked about this in December. And so just to bring it back to the forefront of your brain, this is the work that we've done already. We've determined and we've discussed how social emotional learning contributes to our students' academic success. We've identified and categorized barriers to social emotional learning. And those categories include what you see here. We came up with several categories, but we narrowed them down to 3. And that is self-view, socioeconomic barriers, and identity expression. Okay, so when we talk about self-view, we're talking about things like social media, friend groups, sexual orientation, confidence, the needing to belong, physical appearance. So we've determined that that category is significant enough to be named as a category that is a barrier that includes barriers to social emotional learning. The next category, socioeconomic barriers, include things like transportation, food, transportation and food. And then the third category that we've identified is identity expression, which includes things like communication and language and those barriers, cultural differences, and family. So that's what we've done so far. We have a little bit more work to do. So today we will identify solutions to these barriers. We'll identify solutions to these barriers. And we will identify and categorize barriers to family engagement. We'll go into our second portion, which is family engagement. So we identify barriers to SEL. We categorize those barriers, and right now we're going to talk about solutions, and we'll go through the same process with family engagement. And today we'll be able to identify and categorize barriers to family engagement. In our final SHAC meeting, we'll discuss solutions to family engagement. Any questions? Okay, so with your table group, I'm going to pass out just some of the items that I listed here. And you're going to identify solutions to just using these categories up here. You may not have every item in each of the categories, but I'm just going to pass around examples. And you will, with your table group, determine some solutions. And you can put sentences, one solution per sticky note. It doesn't have to be one word. It can be a sentence. But we want to separate the solutions by sticky note so that we know that we have one idea per sticky note. Any questions? Okay. And so I'm going to give us about 5 minutes to work through that, and I'll be passing out just the examples.
Hey parents, make learning math even more joyful for your child with a Prodigy membership. Boost the
one, I wrote the information up here. Okay. All righty, let me see. Are we in a good position to move forward? Give me 5, or give me 2 if you need like 2 more minutes. 0, everybody good? Okay. All righty, so I'm gonna ask you all to share out some of the solutions that your group came up with, and I'm gonna write them up here to the side. So let's start with self-view. So for self-view to be a barrier, we know that we're talking about the impact that social media has on our students, their physical appearance, the friend groups that they have, and their needing to belong. And all of those things can be barriers. So what solutions did we identify?
Social media, we said maybe parental controls.
Okay. So giving parents information about how to add parental controls to social media? Okay. Awesome. What else?
And with that engagement, because you can control it all you want, but kids can find ways around stuff. Maybe speak to them and find ways to engage them with what they're actually watching and doing on the internet, so that you can so they can make positive choices and educate them on good, because they're gonna find a way to get
Right. So are we saying that we're educating the parents to be able to educate the students? Or, okay, or we are educating the students on,
parents to educate the students.
okay. Okay, so educating adults and students on proper uses of social media. Okay.
I think piggybacking off that, I think it's mentor groups for self-view target topics, so just having mentors come in, speak, choose different topics or struggles, so. Social media, there's a lot of experts out there, a lot of people that have, experienced the negative and positive, but having that voice for the students to have.
Thank you, Chief Lambert. Mentor groups are definitely impactful. Students love to hear from their peers. Okay, wonderful. Any other areas as far as self-view is concerned? That
Promoting already existing student groups on campus to kind of showcase what they do as a student group, to include more additional students to participate, to kind of create that community.
Got it, yes.
Students who may not have that.
So maybe like, I know at one school I was at, we had like a fair, and we had all of the student groups in the cafeteria with their regalia and their information about their groups to invite students to join. Wonderful, okay.
And positive affirmations, teaching them to see the good themselves.
Awesome. So positive affirmations. Teaching students positive affirmations, maybe through like guidance lessons that our counselors provide. Sounds good. Okay, wonderful. What about socioeconomic barriers?
I had one more thing for the self-view.
Uh-huh. Culture of acceptance. Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Clubs or something? Yeah, where it says creating clubs.
Creating clubs? Yes, I'm wondering.
Is that the same?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so student clubs.
Oh, I was just gonna say,
Uh-huh.
like, I was thinking in terms of like, from the principal on down, staff, teachers, students.
The culture, yeah.
Really just reinforcing that message of acceptance.
Yes.
And so kind of creating a culture in the school environment rather than specifically, I mean.
Clubs could be a part of that
Yeah.
culture. Yes, got
I
it.
think it's really important that it's communicated at every
Level.
opportunity.
Absolutely.
My son's school does a really great job at kind of establishing what the, what's acceptable and not acceptable and what they're promoting and what they want their students to.
Expectations. What school is that?
Bill Hart, so
Bill Hart's. All right, whoop whoop, Bill Hart's. I'll tell Miss Nelms here, she got a shout out. Wonderful. Okay. Okay, and so what does that look like for those expectations to be shared? Announcements? What you see her doing? Got it.
every time I walk in that campus, it's like every time she's on that mic speaking, she's reminding the students, hey, friends,
Yes.
be kind to each other.
Yes.
Let's follow this, be excellent today.
That's it.
Just in every
Right.
opportunity, even when she's walking through the halls and she
Yes.
sees a student, come on, friends,
Right.
let's
Yes.
get it together. Remember, you're excellent,
That's right.
are you doing it the Bill Hart's way?
Right.
Every opportunity that she gets, and I feel like she
To reinforce that culture.
reiterates that to her staff, and her staff and teachers are the same. It's just always delivering that same message, whatever it is, whether it's
Yes.
be accepting or, kind or scholarly, like whatever you want that message to be given to the students, just keep reinforcing it at every opportunity.
Okay, so reinforcing expectations.
Every adult on campus should be doing that.
And yeah.
There should be the culture, it should be, in the posters, the, like she said, the announcements, everything that we're saying, everything that we're doing is creating that culture of acceptance. Letting the kids know that this is a place of.
This is what we do, yes, and this is how we do things here. Wonderful. Okay, awesome. So for self-view, we want all adults reinforcing expectations to create a culture of acceptance. Positive affirmations, teaching positive affirmations to our students. We want to promote student groups on campus, maybe create some mentor groups for students. For social media specifically, teaching parents about parental controls that they can put in place, and also educating adults and students on the proper uses of social media. So I think we've identified some excellent solutions to that self-view category. Wonderful. Okay, what about socioeconomic barriers? So we're talking about food, transportation, housing. This might be a little more difficult because a lot of it is out of our control. Ms. Pam? Ms. Brown?
Coming up with some type of needs assessment. Right now, it's kind of word of mouth, informal, but something more formal.
How do you identify who needs what?
Say it again.
Social determinants.
Is that a specific, assessment? Okay. Okay. Social determinant needs. Okay.
And I say this is something that a lot of teachers do. I know a lot of the teachers that I know at the high school as far as like with food and transportation. Some teachers will go in their pocket and have, snacks. Snacks in the classroom, so when the kid comes by, and you could recognize, you identify the kid, who actually has those needs, because, you know, as teachers go, they get to know those students, and they get to identify what those needs are. But just making things available in the classroom, and it's not, you know, not saying it's mandatory, but you know, these are things that a lot of the teachers do because they recognize the need. They're doing it already because you know this is what they realize that their kids need, and they know that if a kid, you know, has something on his stomach, he might be able to pay attention a little bit longer. He might be able to do a little bit better on the test. So, you know, they'll get that. They'll kind of meet those needs if that one need could be satisfied.
Absolutely. All righty.
Hi,
Yes,
I have a question, so maybe I should know, I'm kind of new here. I know that we have the fancy pantry for things, but do we have any backpack programs currently? We already have them, okay, so I wasn't sure.
We do, where there are students who are identified by their counselors. So on the weekends, they have backpacks that are, I'm good, I think,
Okay.
that are, you know, have food that they could take home and something maybe that they could even heat themselves, not like, you know, meal or anything. But we do have a backpack program. And of course, we have a lot of collaborations with the food bank and
yes.
Trusted World and
Yes.
some other things. So we do have those already in place with food. You know, one of the things, and I don't want to take too much time, but, you know, the compassion and commitment by this district, even over the courses when we were shut for the pandemic, we fed our students. We allow students to have their free breakfast. But I think where the problem is, and lunch is very minimal. You can't buy lunch for $3 anywhere, $2 or whatever. But the thing is the education for students and parents of what's healthy. There are a million donut shops in Duncanville. And that's what the kids eat. And so I know through the Child Nutrition Department, they're really trying to increase the palate of students, fresh veggies, and the stuff that they don't eat at home that's really good for them. And so just knowing that, so this education, I know you're gonna have like a little taste and they're already had the kids do the taste and stuff that they like, because lunch, the way it used to be, the fried food and all that sugar, none of that is in the cafeteria like it used to be. So, but anyway, I wanted to say that because I think education for us is the key. Parents are busy, fast, grab a donut, grab a kolache, boom, you're gone. But it's really not adding any real nutritional value. And I love a good sugar donut. I'm not just saying for our children.
Yes.
And this is a food desert for those of you, and I'm sure that you live in this area, getting fresh foods. There are no grocery stores. That's a whole nother thing we can't fix. But we're working on trying, it is a food desert in this area. So, yeah. Thank you for allowing me to say that. I'm going to say something, then I got to go because I got another meeting. But I'm so glad to be here, glad to see you all. Thank you, Ms. Brown, for your work. And just thank you for this committee. This is phenomenal, and I'm glad to be able to get in here for a few minutes anyway. So I'm off
Thank
to
you
the
for
chamber
being
now.
here.
Steve
Okay.
Martin is calling me. So.
Thank you, Ms. Fields. Thank you for sharing. Good to see you. Can we give our interim assistant soup a hand? Or interim soup, I'm sorry.
And I think, I'm gonna say one more thing.
Yes,
because
please.
This is like my area, right? I'm always amazed, the district puts stuff out on the website, you know, on the Child Nutrition website, and I keep having parents say, I got a notice that there's a negative balance, and I don't understand, and I came from this school district where everyone gets to eat free, I didn't know about lunch applications. And I think that we're missing, I hear it enough, that I think that we really are missing a little link between our registration process and free meals, because it's two different applications. You can apply to come to school here and enroll and all that, but if you don't do a meal application, even if you give, your money, you know, how much you make, your income for a household, it doesn't transfer over to that meal application. So I think that, I'm gonna try to work with someone to get that out a little bit more. Because there are some people that, especially who moved here from, Dallas, ISD, and some other places where they've never had to fill out an application because everyone is free. They don't know, and they end up owing money that I can't undo. So.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. So just to sure up our food app process could help. Awesome. Okay, do we have anybody else that wants?
About the transportation, does the
Yes.
district have like a relationship with the, DART where they provide bus passes and stuff to students?
I'm not familiar.
Well, whoever the bus area would be
Mm-hmm.
in
Miss Bradley? No? What did you say, Miss Hudson?
I would just say Duncanville does not have public transportation. That you may see a dark bus coming up to Clark, but that's in Dallas.
Got it.
and now that
Okay.
I think about it, to further demonstrate this issue, is that I have a nephew who is in, our district. He goes to, he goes to the middle school over here. Actually, this is right over here. But he lives up on, up toward Maine, on the corner of Maine and, Wheatland, I guess that is. Kind of, is that? Yeah. Is it? Yeah, whatever school, the high school is on. So, Cedar Ridge. What is the street that's right? Camp Wisdom. So he lives on Camp Wisdom in Maine.
Mhm.
His middle school is over here. And, I mean, it's a walk,
Mm.
but, you know, I was saying, well, is there a bus or anything like that? And, they're in the, right.
So, I will say this, that, I know for transportation, if you're outside of, usually it's a 2-mile radius, then the district provides transportation. Now, some parents may have students that may be a transfer not to their home school for whatever reason. The parent said, I would like my child to attend this school, but it's not their home school, then they have to.
They have to
provide
get in
it.
there.
Yeah, but usually if you're within 2 miles, then you're a walker. And then outside of that 2-mile range, the district will provide transportation to your home campus.
Okay. All right, thank you. Identity expression. So we've got religion, language barriers, cultural differences, family.
So we said another mentorship, like a PALS program, peer assistance, program to help them. Also, I know that Mr. Chase and I believe Mr. Burke, who was at Reed, did, like a dad's program to ties. And, I've seen programs where they had prom dresses for the girls, things like that, where, they have accessibility to items and they can feel better about themselves. Maybe something with the cosmetology department or something, where they go in and they can get their hair done or cut or feel better about themselves.
Okay.
Everybody has nails and eyebrows.
Got it. Okay, so Ms. Cowell said some type of mentorship program, like a dad's program to come in, for the dads to come in periodically and teach students, okay, how to present themselves, tie a tie.
My old high school, sorry,
Go ahead.
I'm from Louisiana, so I apologize.
You good?
My old high school in Louisiana, it was a dad's program, and it's actually still going on. They've been really successful with this for probably the last couple of years. But it's a security dads program, to where, now they're not actually, breaking up fights and all that, but their presence in the building is deterring a lot of different things.
I saw something like that on the news. Yeah.
So a lot of high schools have started to, I'll say high schools, middle schools, high schools have started to adopt these different types of programs. And I'm sure, if we had something like that, in Duncanville or in our area, it would be, instrumental in deterring a lot of the bad behaviors that's going on, and also help with the identity expression and whatnot.
Absolutely.
It's okay to be a certain way. It's okay to be, a male getting a good education. It's okay for males to be smart. It's smart. Things like that. So, I think, it has somewhat of a mentorship program to come in and just be an example of what a responsible, accountable man or male is supposed to be, especially since that's one of the major issues. It's a affecting our male students.
Awesome, thank you. Wonderful.
For cultural, the mentorship as well, like our, nursing team, we've had, student nurses from UTA, they come in their final semester, and I always, if there's, like, this, term, I had a Vietnamese student, so I made sure that the little Vietnamese students saw this child, this, person in their nurse going to school, and then we had Hispanic, I've had a Hispanic student, and, I've even had lovely students. I make sure that they all interact with people and that the kids at the school, especially of those same faith and same cultural beliefs, get to see them in action doing something so that they can see their
Representation.
representation.
Okay, you said student nurses from where?
They come from UTA.
From UTA? Okay. And I'm just gonna put representation.
The high school coming to the elementary school, so kids can see, them doing things and
Even being in a nursing program, health science pathways, got it. Wonderful, okay.
And I think the schools already do this, but, having programs like the Black History Program, I think my school, we do the, Hispanic Heritage thing, so having different programs also.
And my school is good for this. We have a parade for everybody. I'm ready, we gonna have, we gonna have a parade. We gonna have a parade for everybody.
You wouldn't believe how instrumental that is, somebody like myself, I'm from Louisiana. So South Louisiana at that. So there is not a lot of Hispanic representation in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Lafayette, Opelousas, it's black and white. So when I came to Texas and I started, talking to people of Hispanic culture or Hispanic background, they're opening my eyes to a lot of different things that they do culturally that I wouldn't have never heard of. And they're opening my eyes to some things culturally that I would not have considered when I'm starting to think about how to deal with, how to work with those students or whatnot. So by having those conversations with students, with parents, with other educators of Hispanic background, it's opened my eyes, being ignorant, for lack of a better word, to their culture. It's opened my eyes to some of the things that they experience in their culture and then some of their cultural differences. Things that's accepted, things that's not accepted, things that's practiced in the culture. And it's eye-opening, it's really eye-opening.
So the programs,
I think
got
we
it, okay,
should definitely have other
Okay.
cultural and heritage programs.
got it. Wonderful, thank you.
I already talked about using those student clubs in this area as well to help promote,
Awesome. Okay, any more ideas?
The language just like translators and translations, anytime we have things to send home to parents, make it available in multiple languages.
Translation services. Okay, so for identity expression, the solutions that we came up with, I don't know if I put this on the mic. Let me go back. Socioeconomic barrier solutions. We learned about a specific needs assessment called the social determinant needs assessment, but we talked about having a needs assessment that would go out district-wide that would help us identify families in need, possibly having snacks in the classrooms for students who, need them, and then education on healthy foods for our students, and then shoring up the food app process. For identity expression, we talked about translation services, ensuring that documentation that goes out in several languages. Students being represented, so in a mentorship-like program, having that representation either from college students or older students down to the younger students, being able to just be mentors to younger students and model those good things that we want to see. Mentorship programs, dads programs, prom dresses for ladies, probably including our cosmetology students, I was about to say psychology, and then ensuring that those cultural heritage programs are being done on all campuses, and then also student clubs. Wonderful. These are excellent, excellent solutions. Thank you all so much. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to do a little bit of a pivot, just because I think that I got a little too ambitious for this piece. And what we're going to do then in our next SHAC meeting, when we address our family engagement barriers, we're going to work through identifying barriers to family engagement, categorizing them, and then also identifying solutions, just like we did here today with our SEL barriers. So at this time, I'm going to transition over to the mental health supports. Mental health supports provided in our district. So we have our district SEL counselors that you see here. We have 5 in our district that support all 19 of our campuses. And so you can see their information, what campuses they support there. Our student support counselors, we've kind of started to call them SEL counselors, but they provide individual counseling, group counseling to students. They also provide training to teachers, and they do a lot of responsive services as well. So if a student makes a suicide outcry, or if a student is in need of food or clothing, they will refer students to our social workers. If students are in need of additional mental health support, they can refer students out to outside therapists. And so I've just put their numbers to date. They've conducted almost 1,200 individual counseling sessions, almost 1,000 group counseling sessions between the 5 of them, and then 97 staff development sessions. Those staff development sessions are a little bit harder to come by because more than likely they're having to be done after school in a faculty meeting. There's not a lot of time during the day for them to conduct those staff trainings. Some of it may be more one-on-one, working with the teacher, modeling in the classroom for the teacher, so that's why that number is just kind of low. Key initiatives for our mental health support include calming corners. We have calming corners at some of the campuses, giving students who may be overstimulated a place and space to kind of calm their emotions. We have SEL curriculum in our district specifically for K through 8 students, and it is our second step curriculum, and Leader in Me that you see there used at some of the campuses. We have virtual calming rooms. If you've ever been on our district website, if you go to counseling department, you'll see virtual calming rooms there, and you'll see things such as you can watch videos of animals at the zoo doing whatever they're doing. You can, view fireplaces on YouTube, different music and sounds, and so a lot of teachers use them in their classrooms during transitions or periods of time when students are maybe doing individual work. They can go to that virtual calming room on our district website and play some of those things for students, so they're very helpful. One time, my first year, I was doing some restructuring of the department website, and I took those down. And so communications got flooded with, where are the virtual calming rooms by teachers? So I said, oh, sorry. So we put that back up quickly. So they are being used. And we have our Panorama SEL survey that we provide to students twice a school year, in the fall and in the spring. And we collect information from our students, and they tell us where they are in their SEL development as it relates particularly to 3 areas, and that is self-efficacy, how they feel about themselves, their confidence, emotion regulation, how well they're able to maintain their emotions and regulate their emotions, and then also social awareness. Them being aware of the differences between them and their peers and how they handle those things. So that survey will be given again in May. We have several initiatives throughout the school year that our students and staff participate in. One is Sandy Hook's Say Hello that just promotes a culture of inclusiveness. We celebrate it for a week in September, and we encourage all students to do things like really just saying hello to someone that they have never, maybe met, or introducing themselves to someone they haven't met, sitting with a new person in the cafeteria, getting a new friend. And so it's, again, in a time that we want to specifically ensure inclusiveness amongst our students and make it a culture throughout the year. Kindness Week is celebrated in February, and it is to promote just being kind to each other. And so that is led by our counseling department. And then in May, we celebrate Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we have several resources that go out district-wide from the counseling department, bringing awareness to mental health, trying to promote it, take away the stigma that is attached to it, and really educate our students and staff on mental health. We do referrals to outside agencies. We have 2 new partnerships this school year. One is Care Solace, which is a care coordination service that will match students and their families to mental health providers in the area that take their insurance. And so the service is completely free to all students, their families, and staff in the district. And so it's just been a real blessing this school year to have that service in place. We have a partnership with Hamilton Counseling here in Duncanville, but they're only one company, right? And so we've been able to expand our services through the use of Care Solace. We also have Metro Care. We have a Metro Care personnel housed here on 3 of our campuses, providing support, additional mental health support to students, and that is new this year. And so that has been a help already. Some of our students that have more severe or significant maybe behavior concerns, our Metro Care staff is working with them. So new additional supports that we have this year, I'm excited about because we are just expanding the help that is needed. So these are our 2 school social workers. Ms. Cole, she helps students and families and staff in grades 7 through 12 and the alternative schools. And then Ms. Desson has the pre-K through 6. And so you see that last where they're housed, Ms. Desson is at Merrifield and Ms. Cole is housed at Pace. And so they operate the Panther Pantry and Clothing Closet. You see a few pictures here. We provide food, clothing, hygiene items. Hygiene items are really popular. They're a great need for us. I'm sorry, I think popular is probably the wrong word, but they're in high need, and high demand. And so they're always working to keep hygiene items staffed. We had Kindness Week in our campuses. Kindness Week was a few weeks ago, and our campuses did a drive for food and hygiene items and clothing items. And so we got an influx of hygiene items for the Panther Pantry from the community and the parents at the different schools. Excuse me. I don't usually talk this much. Okay, our school social workers have served 704 people through the Panther Pantry, students through the Panther Pantry and Clothing Closet to date. And that actually, I think that does say people for a reason. Our social workers also assist staff. So we have a partnership with the North Texas Food Bank that offers food boxes, and those food boxes are not only available for our students and their families, but also for staff. So they do help staff as well. We have secured a new partnership with an organization named I Look Like Love. They have provided a car seat for a set of parenting students. They're a couple, a mom and dad, that have a child at the high school. They provided a car seat with them, came in, taught them how to use it, along with other parenting students at DHS. The social workers Ms. Cole and Ms. Evans. So Ms. Evans is an SEL counselor. Ms. Cole is a social worker. They partnered up and they run a teen parenting program at the high school. And so that program meets, I believe, once a month or twice a month. And they just provide education to our teen parents in the district. And so they have organizations like I Look Like Love come in, provide car seats, they provide diapers for the parenting students, and it's just really helpful. It's a great program. So character education. The State Board of Education mandates that we integrate positive character traits and personal skills into our TEKS for K through 12 as appropriate. This is the positive character education traits that we are to teach. So personal skills, courage, trustworthiness, integrity, respect, and courtesy, self-management skills, interpersonal skills, decision-making skills. Our counselors provide guidance lessons to students on a monthly basis that cover a lot of these character education traits. Depending on the month, each month is a different topic. So I think in September, we talked about suicide prevention and mental health. And so with that, we included information about self-management skills. And so we have the positive character traits kind of woven into our guidance lessons. And also our second step curriculum for K through 8 is aligned to the positive character traits education that is to be provided for our students. And so what you see linked there is the curriculum alignment chart that shows how second step is aligned to the state's positive character traits. What questions do you have about the support we're providing to our students, the mental health supports, or what feedback do you have? Right, thank you.
I have a question and a comment. Question, the acronym NCO stands for, you should have 5 NCO counselors.
SEL, Social Emotional Learning Counselors.
I'm glad I
Yes.
Okay, and then comment, as a parent and former PTA president, I've actually seen your things administered through the counselors on the campuses that I've been on, when it came to kindness week and all those things. So it was really cool to see it in the students that engaged in it. And I thought it would actually go away as I got to the higher grades. And it's a little struggle.
Yeah.
But we took a different approach at my current campus, and we tried to really push it during wind time, whatever that focus was. So I don't know if there was a good first year trying it like that, but I
Okay.
like the creative approach to trying to get the message out there when it came to kindness. Because bullying is really big in that middle school, you know?
Yeah.
They're going through.
Absolutely.
So that kind of thing is really cool that I saw being administered at our campus. So just
Thank you.
positive feedback.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And each campus has the autonomy to kind of do how they would like with the different weeks and initiatives that we have, but we do, as a district, provide resources for them. Lots of different things that they can do and implement on their campus. So it is an expectation that every campus participates. I do know that it gets harder as we go up in grade level, but we should all be implementing at all levels. Thank you for that. Any other comments, questions?
I know my son came home the other day and I said, oh, what did you learn today? And he said, I learned how to be a good citizen. And I was like, oh, really?
That's great.
So,
Awesome. They're picking it up. Wonderful. Thank you. Awesome. Okay. All right. Well, thank you all so much for your time. I'm going to pass it along now to, I believe, Ms. Bradley, and she's going to talk to us about bullying prevention efforts.
Good afternoon, everyone.
see if I can work this thing. Okay, we are here to talk about our bullying efforts here in Duncanville ISD. If you see or hear or know something, say something and do something. These are the posters that you'll find in all of our schools in Duncanville ISD. Again, my name is Alicia Bradley, and I am the new Director of Student Services. This is the first time that I've met with the SHAC committee, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we do have, of course, board policy that defines what bullying is, okay? So it is either a single act or a pattern of acts, right, that creates an imbalance of power. So it could be physically harming a student, damaging a student's property. It could be a student being irresponsible or responsible in regards to fear or harm. And I can't read that over there, so I'm going to turn around over here. I'm like, okay, I can't see. I'm supposed to get glasses soon. Computer work, right? So it definitely, so we look at the possibility of severe, persistent, or pervasive, if it's pervasive enough. Then also we look at disruption of the educational process and if it infringes on the rights of the victim at school. And of course, we include cyberbullying now, and that's David's Law. So what's required by law? So the board shall adopt a policy that prohibits bullying, prohibits retaliation against bullying, and policies that include procedures for bullying notices, student actions to take against bullying, counseling options, reporting procedures, as well as discipline measures. So if you are in a situation where you're bullying another student, it's a possibility that you may get a consequence. It may be self-defense. And then, of course, we have to take into consideration the disability of a child. So there are forms that we use in the district. Of course, it is stated in FFI Local. So this form can be accessed by students as well as parents, and it is on our district's main website. Anyone may report bullying, harassment, or a threat, okay, using this form. And of course, the form is also can be accessed on our posters that I shared with you guys earlier, and there's another picture of it in our presentation. Reporters can do this anonymously, okay? So this is what the poster looks like in our schools. Okay, so of course you see there is a QR code. It is in English and in Spanish. This is just the English version of what it looks like. And anyone, again, can report anonymously through this form. Bullying questions to consider. Our staff, they've also had training with bullying as well, but these are questions that are considered when they're looking at bullying. Was it a single act? Was it a pattern of acts? Was it an imbalance of power? Again, is it creating some type of physical property or harm to others? Intimidation, and if it's electronic or on school property or other school-related events, games, sport events, so forth, field trips. So there is a quick reference guide that our staff members use, and then it offers the steps for investigating bullying incidents. So there is a bullying checklist that our staff members use, our campus administrators as well as our counselors, to ensure that we're doing what's best for kids and identifying what is bullying. So it's just not a blanket definition, if you will, but this kind of streamlines our decision making. So we want to make sure that we ensure students are aware of the online bullying from where they can anonymously report incidents. So this is communicated via counselors, staff members at school, as well as administrators. Also, they have anti-bullying assemblies to educate on harmfulness of bullying. They encourage students to report any incidents that they experience or witness, keyword experience or witness, right? Ensure all staff and teachers and substitutes know to report the bullying to the campus administrator, or again, you should see these posters, those of you guys who work in the school, you should see these posters located in various locations in the school. So our plan of action, again, all staff members have received training on bullying and harassment. Of course, we are using that online reporting tool as we see bullying or experience bullying to report verbal or via email. Okay, also we have the October Bullying Awareness Month. And then the counselors provide those guidance lessons during that month. And then, of course, the form can be used to report threats. Campus administrators, they will use that bullying checklist, act quickly to investigate and take any actions that need to be addressed. Okay, bullying includes counseling, mediation, assigning disciplinary consequences, and other actions, and those are the actions that we take against bullying. Of course, we have well, you guys may not know, so once the administrators report the bullying, then they also have to go in and make sure that they summarize anything that is going on. So just because a person arbitrarily, states, oh, this is a bullying act, they have to come back and make sure that they do all of the investigating, and they have to complete an additional form, and that's a summary report for us. And then they demonstrate for teachers and students how to use the online report incidents. Are there any questions about bullying and how we do things in Duncanville ISD? None? Okay.
Like in the elementary, maybe we don't have cell phones with a QR code or anything like that. Is there any way of communicating like what they can do if they feel like they're being bullied or seen?
Typically what happens is either once the counselors, are given their spiel in regards to the guidance lessons and so forth, and especially after October Bullying Month, then a lot of times the teachers will see some things that are occurring in the classroom, right? Or they build relationships with the students, and so they understand what's going on. Then once you build a relationship with that student, then the student will pretty much kind of confirm or communicate what's going on. Also, I tell people all the time as a former principal, if your child states to you at home that they're being bullied, then parents, please call to the school or use that online bullying forum to ensure that we are aware of what's going on. A lot of times parents may not be able to pick up the phone, but they can access the bullying forum through our webpage.
I was thinking in terms of like kids who may not be able to identify that they are being bullied or what's happening to them is bullying. Is there like any education around kind of what's acceptable behaviors, what's not, or is that pretty much like the teachers kind of rely on them to kind of help them?
And it's a combination of both. And I know parents are doing the same thing at home, and then through our guidance lessons with the counselors, they're getting the same information. But going back to even some of the things that we talked about here, like you understand if you feel wanted or appreciated, they may not know the word is bullying, but they may be able to communicate to you their feelings in regards to, I don't feel good when I'm with Johnny. He makes me feel bad. And so at that point, then we start communicating. A lot of times it may be bullying, but again, if it's a 3 or 4-year-old or a 5-year-old, they may not know the term bullying, but at the same time, it may be a situation where if they're expressing, I don't like to sit next to Tommy, then that's a situation that we may need to look into. But they may not know the word bullying, you're correct. Any other questions? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Hudson at this time to discuss drug prevention efforts. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am going to quickly talk to you about the things that we are doing to help with drug prevention efforts in the district. Before I start, I want to introduce myself for those who have not met me before. My name is Tawana Hudson, and I serve as the Director of Student Management and Restorative Practices. So I had an opportunity to come and speak with you all the last SHAC meeting, just talking about discipline updates and the things that we are doing in the way of restorative practices for students. And one of the things that I shared with you all were just changes in the law as it pertains to drug infractions in particular. So House Bill 114 was passed that gave us direction about how we intervene with students who have any type of vaping, any type of drug infraction. Those are now mandatory placements. And so we talked last time about the impact that has had on discipline data in the campus and just what campuses have had to do just to try to put some measures in place for that. And so I wanted to start with a reminder about what we talked about last time so that I can share with you some of the things that we are doing to help prevent drug usage and really recurring drug usage in the district. But before I do that, I don't want to assume that anybody knows about what vaping is and what it looks like and what your students may or may not have been exposed to, whether it be on a campus or on a TikTok. I have a 16-year-old myself, so I know TikTok is where they're learning all the things. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what vaping is. And so I've got a picture up here of what one type of vaping device. All vaping devices have these components. There's a place where it's being battery operated. There's a place to actually hold the liquid. There's a place to heat up the liquid. And then there's the place where you're actually inhaling whatever the liquid is in a vaping device. But what I want to share with you is not all vapes look like this. Some of them look like cigarettes, some of them look like jewelry, some of them look like school supplies, and I'm going to show you a few pictures in just a moment. Some of them look like highlighters. Vaping companies have gotten really, really creative about how they are marketing these devices to our children, and I'm saying that slowly because it's for children. They are marketing these things to children. So I want to give you some examples. There are 4 different types of substances or liquids that could possibly be vaped. It could be just a flavor vape. They have fruity flavors, candy type flavors, but it could also be nicotine in a vape. Of course, there's also drugs, and then there's some essential oils. So we, as a district and on campuses, have to be really, really cognizant of the different types of vapes because what they have in the vape may indicate what type of discipline the student may receive. So not all vapes are drug vapes. Some of them also have nicotine in them. Some of them just are flavor vapes, and so we have to be aware of those things. But I wanted to show you and these are old pictures, I'll let you know. These are pictures that I used last school year, so I know they've come up with even more. But how creative they have gotten to market vapes to students. Some of them look like candy that you would just go get from the store. If you go to any gas station in Duncanville, around Duncanville, you're going to see vape. You're going to see it. They are marketing these, and it's easily accessible. And so I wanted to share that with you just so that you have an awareness of it, so that you can make sure that you're educating your students about it, and even people in the community, people that are your neighbors, because not all of them know about that. And I have a quick video. It's a 1-minute video, and I felt like this could share more information with you about vaping than I could possibly do standing here in front of you. So I'm hoping sound is available, and if not, we're going to wing it. And if it doesn't work, then we'll move it on. What I could possibly do, oh, here it comes.
E-cigarettes, vape pens, Juuls. They're often marketed as safe alternatives to smoking, but their cool designs, fun flavors, and the fact that they're easy to hide means it's not only smokers who want them, it's kids. And for kids, they're definitely not safe. Teens should absolutely not use Juuls, e-cigarettes, or any similar products. Here's why. When kids use Juuls or other e-cigarettes, they're getting a big dose of nicotine. This disrupts their brain development. It changes the connections between brain cells, causing problems with learning, mood, and impulse control. It makes depression and anxiety worse.
And as any smoker can tell you, nicotine is highly addictive. That makes it very difficult to quit e-cigarettes. And vaping makes it much more likely that kids will smoke real cigarettes later. It's true that a few e-cigarette brands don't contain nicotine, but most of them do. And all of them contain other dangerous chemicals like these. Formaldehyde, which is found in glue and embalming fluid. Diacetyl, which causes lung disease. Benzene, that's a carcinogen linked to leukemia. Some tests have also found metal particles in the e-cigarette vapor. The devices themselves can also be unsafe. They can explode.
The long-term effects of using e-cigarettes are unknown.
And because there are no standards, we don't know the ingredients in these products
We don't want children to take unnecessary risks with their health.
and begin a lifelong addiction to nicotine. Talk to your kids about e-cigarettes and how to say no to these harmful products.
E-cigarettes
So that was a quick little PSA just about the dangers of it. Like I said before, education is key. And so the next two slides that I'm going to go over with you are just the efforts that we are making in the district to not only educate our students, but educate our staff so that there's an awareness of this. So of course we have Red Ribbon Week that happens every October, but one of our intentional efforts this school year has been to provide opportunities for awareness activities outside of Red Ribbon Week. We're all used to Red Ribbon Week, but what happens after October? What happens the rest of the school year? And so students, if they have been caught with a vape or any type of drugs, they are required to do some modules, some drug education modules, attached to their discipline placement. And then also there are counseling supports that we are able to offer them. Ms. Pratt talked about MetroCare. MetroCare has a substance abuse component that we are working to get going here in the district. And then we want to make sure that teachers are aware of what to do and how to identify students who may be exhibiting these behaviors or drug addictive behaviors. Some of the things that we have recently done is we've been doing awareness efforts at sporting events. And so we were at a basketball game just recently, just making sure that we get the word out to families about the dangers of vaping. And then we've got next month is National Drug and Alcohol Facts Week. And so we'll be at the next baseball game doing the very same thing. So we just want to get the word out, get our faces out. We have little freebies, giveaways to get the kids to come to the table so that we can talk to them about the dangers of drugs and vaping. So thank you. That is our time. All right, Mr. Ryan Blint.
Hello, I'm Ryan Flint, Director of Teaching, Learning, and Assessment, and I'm just going to talk a little bit about the TEKS and the health TEKS that we have. In 2022, the health TEKS were revised, and so we've got some new Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, and what these do, these just provide what the basic knowledge and skills our students need to learn with inside this course. I'll go through what the topics are in just a second, but the big aim is to promote a lifelong health and well-being by providing students with knowledge and skills to make informed decisions and adopt healthy behaviors. In Duncanville, we also use an opt-in model with our health courses, so parents opt in to the course and parts of the course. And so that's important to note because let's take a look at our major topics here. We've got some important things that we go through with our students, and we need to make sure that we go through the standards when we're going through with this course, all of the TEKS. And some of that will include some topics that could potentially be a little controversial. And so that's why we definitely follow the opt-in model with this with our parents. And we looked very closely at adopting instructional materials that went along with the new TEKS and that we were in compliance with state law as we were adopting the materials. We also wanted to make sure that the materials were reflective of the community of Duncanville ISD too. And so we made sure to do that as we were adopting our materials last year. Some of the things that we wanted to make sure that we did was the materials were 100% in alignment with state standards. We adopted a resource that is the only resource that is on the State Board of Education approved list. So that's what we have. We've got the Good Heart Wilcox Health Skills book, that instructional materials that we use with students. We have some assessment tools that come with that, and so we want to make sure that we use those and we assess our students around those standards. And then I referred back to the parent opt-in feature for alignment with HB 1525 and Senate Bill 9. Here I do have some course overviews, and I don't think these are clickable links. Let's see. Oh, there we go. And so this just gives us a brief overview of our middle school course and when we teach which things, which topics inside of our middle school course here. And we divide it out into 2 different 9 weeks because it's just a semester course. And then we do the same thing with the high school also. Okay. And we just want to make sure that everybody's in the know of when we are teaching what. Okay. Let me see. Let me go back to that. Okay. So then I just want to see if anybody has any questions. Okay. Well, there you go.
Thank you so much to all of the presenters that presented at the SHAC meeting on today. And I am going to get ready. I'm not going to even make her get up. We want to make sure that we do have some to-go boxes if you want to take some sandwiches or something home. So please take some of the refreshments home. But I'm going to give it over to our vice chair to officially call the time and adjourn the meeting. So I'm going to turn this over to her.
The meeting is adjourned at 5:53 p.m.
All right, thank you.